Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In this episode, I want to introduce you a poem from Tang Dynasty. It's one of the Tang poetry written by the poet Du Fu. Du Fu, and the name of the poem is Shi Hao Li. The name it's a very famous poem of the poet, and the poet Du Fu is one of the greatest poets ever in China's poetry history, not only in Tang Dynasty but throughout the history of China. And I know there are a lot of translators who have translated those Tang poetry into English, and the one translators I want to introduce, I recommend, is his name is Burton Watson. Burton Watson, and I believe he's the best translators, especially in translating Du Fu's poems. This poet's poems. And before we jump into the paraphrasing of this poem, I want to introduce you the background of this point of it. The background. We know that China has a period which is called Tang Dynasty, and we know a lot of Chinese people are uh, boast boasting their Tang Dynasty, their Tang period, the prime time of China, always bragging about this period. But we know this prime time, this Tang Dynasty was divided into two parts, divided by a civil war. Yeah, that is the famous Anlushan Rebellion, also known in Chinese historiography either as Anshi Rebellion, Anshi disturbances, or 天宝 chaos. In Chinese, 天宝之乱, 天宝 chaos. This was an 8-year civil war from 755 to 763 AD during the midpoint of the Tang Dynasty that started as a commandery rebellion against the imperial government, attempting to overthrow and replace it with a rogue Yan dynasty. The more commonly referred term Anshi, Anshi, An is the last name of General Anlushan, and Shi is the last name of the general Shi Siming, the rebellion army. Is used to recognize the two families, the two leaders who led the rebellion. And also, Anlushan, we know Anlushan and Shi Siming. Anlushan is one that is once the the favorite or one of the favorite generals of the emperor Tang Xuanzong, the emperor Xuanzong. But Anlushan, yeah, turned against his master. So that's another story. And this poem occurred during the 8-year rebellion. Yeah, during the that is 755 to 763. So the background story of this poem is that this poet he's going from Luoyang, the city Luoyang, to west because he was going to another province which is called Shanxi province to be a very low rank officer, to be we call it in Chinese 做官 or 任官 任官, to be a low rank officer from Luoyang, the city Luoyang, to the west. He was going to traveling through from Henan province to Shanxi province, which sits next to each other. And on the way to his office, Du Fu, Du Fu, one night, Du Fu found Du Fu found a village, yeah, village with which he thought he could rest one night. And this incident happened during his visit of this village. Right, the title of this poem is 石壕里. Yeah, 石壕里. Shihao is the name of the village. We call it, we can say stone channel, village, or just Shihao village. Okay, both are okay. And Li. In Chinese, we have Guan and Li. Yeah, Guan and Li. We say Guan Li. Guan Li. This is a word, but these are two character words, but each character has absolutely different meanings. Guan is officers, high rank officers, which were named by the emperor himself. And the Li is they are very low rank officers, which were named by Guan, by officers, by Guan. So Li were named by Guan, and Guan were named by the emperor himself. So this is a relation of Guan and Li, Guan Li. So Li, we can see here, Li is a very low rank officers, right? 石壕里, it means when the poet visit the village, he met a bunch of, right, a team of Li, a team of very low rank officers. So before I paraphrasing this poem, I want to read you through this poem, and you can have a feeling of this poem, which was read by in Chinese, to have a feel of the poem. 石壕里，木头石壕村，有力夜捉人。老翁逾墙走，老妇出门看。立呼一何怒，复啼一何苦。听妇前致辞，三男夜成数，一男复书至，二男新战死。存者且偷生，死者长已矣。世中更无人，惟有汝下孙。This is a Chinese to read this poem. Of course, this is half. This is only half of the poem, and we have a second part to explain through the second part of the poem. And we will give a brief introduction of the poem, of the meaning of the poem. And meanwhile, I want to explain you the poem from the perspective of understanding Chinese. Yeah, we are a Chinese teaching channel. The first sentence, 木头石壕村. Mu, yeah, mu is the ancient Chinese, which is used to today in modern Chinese. It means something like when afternoon turns into night. Mu, or means night. The night when the night comes, or when it was late. Mu, it means after the sun goes down, right? 夜晚. We call it 夜晚 or 暮晚上. It was late. 木头头头 means arrived at. The poet arrived at a place called 石壕村. 村 is village, right? 村 is village. So 木头石壕村 it means one day it was late and the poet arrived at a village called 石壕. That is the first line. The second line, 有力夜捉人. 有 means there is, right? There are. 有, yeah, there are. 力, right? 力 means very low title, low rank officers. There are officers. These officers, they are conscription officers, because the emperor is very lacking of soldiers to fight the civil war. So they dispatched those conscription officers to villages to capture or to arrest those males, right, to become their soldiers to fight the civil war. 有力夜捉人. There are conscription officers. 夜 means at night, right? 暮 and 夜, they are the same. 暮 and 夜. 有力夜捉人. There are conscription officers who 捉人. 捉 means to arrest people, right? 捉人 to arrest people at night. The second line, 老翁逾墙走. 老翁 means the old male of this household. 老翁 means there's an old man, elderly person of a household. The household is the one the poet 杜甫 visited. 老翁逾墙走. 逾 means slip away, escaped, right? Over the wall. 逾墙. 墙 is the wall. 走 means run. In ancient Chinese, 走 means run, quickly run away. So 逾墙 in modern Chinese we call it 翻墙. 翻墙 to come over the wall and escape. 老翁逾墙走 escaped or ran away very quickly. 老妇出门看. 老妇, the old lady, it means the 老翁's wife, right? The elder person's wife, the old male's wife. 老妇出门看. 出门 means to go out. 看 to see, right? To go out and see. She went to the gate, right? To see what is happening, who is calling, right? Who is knocking at the door. 厉乎议何怒. I believe there's an exclamation mark here. Here. 厉乎. These officers, who means to scream at or to yell at, right? They cursed loud and long, means 呼. 议何怒, right? 议何怒. 怒 means rage, outrage. Those officers were in outrage, very angry. 议何 means how angry they are, right? How angry they are, how angry those officers are. 妇啼议何苦. This woman, this old wife, 啼 means cry. She was crying. The old lady was crying. How bitter she was crying. 苦 is bitter or very sad or grief, or the old lady lost in grief, right? How bitter her crying were. 妇啼议何苦. right? So let's read this part again. 木头石壕村，有力夜捉人。老翁逾墙走，老妇出门看。立乎一何怒，复提一何苦。All right, I believe I think this is the end of the first part of this poem, 石壕吏. I hope you have learned something. And why I teach Tang poetry is because Tang poetry is very simple. So although it is written 1,000 years ago, right, around 700, but the Chinese is very simple. Although they use ancient Chinese, some characters they are the meaning of some characters are ancient Chinese, not the same from modern Chinese. But the Chinese is still very simple and very easy to learn. So I will continue my series of teaching poems, especially Tang poetry and modern poetry of China. And this is the first reason. The second reason is you have to learn poems if you want to learn Chinese, because China has a long history of poetry. So poetry, everyone in China can recite several poems. It's in the blood of Chinese. So it's like you to recite English poems from a very young age. So if you want to learn Chinese and you want to learn the Chinese culture, you have to learn or you have to know some very famous Chinese poems. That is the point. All right, I hope you can learn something from this video, and I hope you would like this poem. If you have any comments, please write some comments down the video. All right, this is the first part of the poem. See you next time.